I've got the Home Affairs correspondent of The Sun, Julia Atherley, in the studio. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining me. Let's talk about this ongoing shambles, the horror of which is becoming into sharp focus today after the government released the new asylum seeker data and statistics. But first of all, your paper today, good front page, no vacancies. Now, more and more councils are queuing up to tread in the footsteps, the triumphant footsteps of Epping Forest District Council, which of course won this kind of historic victory over the government, saying, look, you cannot take a hotel in our local area, and this is what all councils will say, suddenly surround it with steel barriers, put security guards all over it, bring down, black out all the windows, fill it with illegal foreigners, and then still call it a hotel. So all councils all over the country have seen this, including quite a few Labour councils, and they say, well, we'll have some of that. So the government's going to be assailed with these legal challenges, which, if the High Court's got anything to go by, will have to succeed. No vacancies in migrant hotels. What will they do with the asylum seekers when they get evicted?
Well, exactly. So yeah, as you say, there are dozens of councils across the country, including Tamworth and Wirral, which are two Labour councils, also Bournemouth, which has a Lib Dem leader. So it's not just Conservative councils, as you say, so dozens across the country, which are looking at what happened in Epping and saying, can we do that? Is that something that we can do? Will that work for us with our planning laws in our area? And so far, the ministers from the Home Office, we heard from Dan Jarvis yesterday, they've not been able to give us an actual answer about what's going to happen if these hotels close. Where are the people that are currently living in them going to go? They're going to go into HMOs? Are they going to go into larger sites such as disused army accommodation? We've just not been able to find out yet.
Yeah, so HMOs, houses of multiple occupation. Well, we happened to hear from a councillor in Portsmouth a couple of days ago, and he said that the council there, or the councillors, have just found out that over the past few months, secretly, the government has commandeered 55 HMOs. Now, if you think about it, that'll probably be another 500 migrants for the beleaguered city of Portsmouth. So they're doing this a lot, but I would imagine that they're going to struggle to find enough houses to put, 32,000 asylum seekers who are currently in hotels into. And incredibly, they've issued an urgent appeal today. This is the government, folks, for 5,000 homes to house 20,000 migrants. I mean, how are they doing this? Are they saying, have you got a spare house? Have you got a house we can borrow? How are they going about this strange appeal?
Yeah, I mean, it does seem bizarre. I think it shows how, so the Epping ruling is that that hotel in Epping, the Bell Hotel, has to be empty by September the 12th. Yeah. So they're urgently trying to find accommodation, and part of that is they're approaching private landlords, they're approaching different people around the country. I mean, as you say, it seems pretty desperate. They're desperately trying to find places where they can put people. And we had Chris Philp in our paper today talking about how these are homes that could be used for British families. We know there's a shortage of housing around the country, so I think some people are getting angry about the fact that these hotels, people that are staying in hotels, could be going into accommodation around the country that British families could use.
It's an absolute shambles, and Kemi Badenoch has today written to all Tory councils encouraging them to follow in the footsteps of Epping Forest District Council and to sue the government to challenge their local asylum seeker hotels. And you can understand why local communities have been protesting. I mean, it's not in essence that, we don't like the idea we've got 500 foreigners in our midst who we know nothing about. I mean, people are uncomfortable about that, but it's what they've subsequently done. We've got hundreds and hundreds of them have been charged with serious offences. Some of them now are being convicted. Rape, sexual assault, and that's why this is becoming so incendiary. It's not just that these foreigners are being foisted on unsuspecting communities, it's what they then get up to.
I think it's fair to say that most people in these hotels are law-abiding. But as you say, there have been cases recently. There was the case of the man in Epping who's accused of trying to kiss a 14-year-old girl, which is horrific. So there have been those high-profile cases that have been...
There's been another one in Epping as well.
Yeah.
Another sexual assault charge.
Yeah, exactly. And those are going through the court system at the moment. I think what the Epping case has really highlighted is that these hotels have been set up and they've circumvented the planning system. So if they were to go through the planning system in the local council, there would be debate. There would be able to lodge an objection to it. But because of the way they've been set up and the contracts that have happened, that's not been able to take place. So I think that's why local people. They just haven't had a voice in what's happened.
Exactly right. And what's happened is their local hotel essentially has been turned into barracks for undocumented foreigners, and the government broke planning rules by doing that, because they still insist they're still hotels. Well, they're not hotels if I can't book into it, if I can't go in to have a drink there, and so on and so forth, which I can't. These hotels suddenly become booked out forever. You can't get in. There's security guards. They close all the restaurants, all the swimming pools, all that sort of thing. So the government's in big trouble there. It'll be interesting what happens in the next month or so. Finally, is this your story? The SOS scam, abusive new tactic, legal channel migrants are using to get French to escort them into British waters. That's the Sun's good story. What would explain that? Yeah,
it's a story in our paper today. It's about how we've exposed that people coming across in these small boats, migrants coming across, are essentially making mayday calls when they're in French waters. French crews, French boats are arriving to find out actually the boat's not in trouble, but because they're there, they then have to escort them and carry on. So yeah, it's quite fast forward.
And still they come, still they keep coming. Well, listen, Julia, I better let you get back to your desk. It's a few footfalls below here, but a busy day for you, a busy day for everyone on the Sun. Great paper today, and thanks very much for coming in. Julia Atherley there, Home Affairs correspondent of the Sun.